Hello everyone, I'm Diana Riescolin. I'm president of Centro, Selva, Arte, Ciencia, and today I have the pleasure to present again Michelina Risbeck.
Hello everyone. So happy to be here. So happy to share my work.
Yay! Yeah, we're here with a solo show of Michelina Risbeck. Michelina is an artist that works in different media. And has been in the Centro Selva Artist Residency for 2 months in June, July. And she has had a very personal experience with the place and reflections on her stay. I don't know if I would like Michelina maybe to present a little bit like an overview of what we're going to see, and then we can go into seeing the different pieces.
Yeah, all right. Hello, thank you so much for being here. Very, very excited. So basically the work that we're going to be seeing, there's going to be 2 videos and 2 photo series. And the work is reflected around the healing of the inner mind, both as it relates to the mind and body, being in nature, and also connecting with the land of my ancestral past, and also learning about the Shipibo Konibo textile designs, which is the first thing that we're going to show, so very excited to show you that. But yeah, we're just going to kind of go through, talk a little about it, and then I don't know if they can do like any questions or something as we go on, but I can kind of answer any questions and talk through the work.
Perfect. Para los que están viéndolo los que hablan español, vamos a estar mostrando la página en español. Todos los textos están en inglés y español. Entonces pueden seguir un poco lo que estamos viendo. So what I would say, there's a Spanish version and an English version on our webpage of the different pieces. We will be talking mostly in English, but the texts are in Spanish. So the first piece, Michelina has worked in several pieces, right? Some video work and a lot of photography as well. And the first piece that we have is this one that is about a workshop that Michelina did. The presentation of the show is mostly, it's chronological, right? Because it's the first things that you did, and then following up to the last piece that is a little bit about the whole experience and different, but we will see it later on. So would you like to say some words about, before we see the first video?
Yes, so I'm going to read the text that I have here for the video. So, Maestra Miriam, Enseñando el Arte del Diseño Shipibo Konibo, offers a glimpse into Miriam's world of creating and teaching the long-held traditions of the Shipibo Konibo textile designs. As head teacher of the Shipibo Konibo community, Miriam's knowledge of this art form delves into the natural materials, the traditional techniques, and deeper meaning behind the work. Through the Centro Selva Artist and Residency program, I had the honor of not only learning the process of these textile designs, but the heart within them, from both Miriam and her daughter Anahi. Partaking in this art form of ancient knowledge passed down from generation to generation and adapting to this living culture is a reminder of how art connects us beyond time and the importance it holds for our souls.
So that the text has been in Spanish, but I'll also in the page. So, but I'll read it. Maestra Miriam, enseñando el arte del diseño Shipibo Konibo. Ofrece un vistazo al mundo de Miriam de crear y enseñar las tradiciones arraigadas de los diseños textiles Shipibo Konibo. Como maestra principal en la comunidad Shipibo Konibo, el conocimiento de Miriam de esta forma de arte profundiza en los materiales naturales, las técnicas tradicionales y los significados más profundos detrás del trabajo. A través del programa de residencia de artistas de Centro Selva, tuve el honor de aprender no solo el proceso de estos diseños textiles, pero el corazón dentro de ellos, tanto de Miriam como de su hija Anaí, Participar en esta forma de arte, de conocimiento antiguo, transmitido de generación en generación, y adaptarse a esta cultura viva es un recordatorio de cómo el arte nos conecta más allá del tiempo y la importancia que tiene en nuestra alma. Entonces pasaremos a ver el video. We'll go and see the video.
Oh, that's the ending.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Spoilers.
Miriam, Shipibo, de colores. Esta mañana vamos a trabajar con el arte Shipibo del diseño, que es el Shaukuner y el Mayakuner. Vamos a trabajar con cantos, con música, para poder trabajar conectándose con la naturaleza, nuestra cosmovisión, conectando al universo para que el trabajo salga. Este es el diseño preparado. Vamos a trabajar con tinte natural de un palo de líquido. Es preparado, y esto de acá es el barro especial para el color caoba. Para esto es esto, el barro, y cuando uno pinta ella va a quedar así. Miren, tengo mi artesanía que he traído. Es un espacio para mí, ¿no? Que compartir mi conocimiento, compartir los conocimientos ancestrales, y hasta ahora lo venimos practicando. Es una cultura viva que nosotros mantenemos. Gracias.
Okay. I don't know if you wanted to. Oh, there's echo. I don't know if you wanted to say something extra about the video.
Yeah, so even just like watching that again, just brought me back to learning about the different designs and what they mean, being able to meet Miriam and to show how important it is, not only like the final product, but the process going through with each step, the types of materials that you're using, how it's being applied. And one of my one of my favorite parts was when we had the mud, the ink, and after placing it on top of the like textile imagery and placing in the water, it changed, as you saw, from the mud to black, and seeing that like process, that was really cool, and being able to like feel it on my hands as we were going through. But I think that one of the most important things that I learned from her was that everything is connected. Everything that we do, all of the work that we do, the people that we meet, everything is connected to us and to others and in nature, and also how the work that she does and the type of designs that she was doing are also a form of not only sharing this culture that she has been a part of and passed down and adapted through generation to generation, but also that type of artwork and the work that she was doing is a means of protection and also a means of like spirit within the community, and showing that like that value and that importance, and just kind of really it struck like a chord in me that was very like heartwarming and soothing. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, all this the videos we can watch in the blog post that is in centroselva.com, but it will also be in the Centro Selva YouTube channel and Michelina's YouTube channel. So if we will also post it in after this conversation, we will post it on our Facebook page as well, the links and everything, so everybody can see it again. The next piece. Yes.
Oh wait, was everyone able to hear and see that? Okay, was that good? Is there a way that we can check to make sure everyone was able to hear and see it? Okay.
I just see good comments in the no bad comments. It says so wonderful. I'm sorry. Felicidades. So I guess it's okay. It sounded okay.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much for everyone who is here. By the way, I noticed I'm seeing some comments too. Deepali, so happy that you're here. Mom, thank you so much for being here. Indra and Francisco, thank you.
Yeah.
Reb, thank you so much for being here, Reb. And Carrie.
So we are seeing the comments, so if anybody would like to ask something additional or something like that, also. Estamos leyendo los comentarios, entonces si alguien quisiera también hacer una pregunta ahorita, también podrían ponerlo. Y si ponen una pregunta después, también le hacemos llegar a Michelina la pregunta y se puede contestar. What I was saying is that also if somebody afterwards sees it and would like to ask something, like you can also just leave the post there, and we can go and talk about it later.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So the next piece is la piel de los árboles, the skin of the trees, right? Skin of trees. So before we see the different images, would you like to the full text is here, but if you would like to say a couple words before we go and see the images.
Yeah, so for this, I'm not going to read the whole text, it's kind of long, but you'll be able to get the link after this chat to be able to read it all in full. But basically, The Skin of Trees is a photo series, and it's focusing on both like the beauty and the functionality of tree bark in this region in Peru on the farmland that I was at during the residency program of Hilma's farmland. And so we went on several walks and got to explore several different parts of the landscape, and I kept on gravitating towards these tree barks. They were just so fascinating to me, the different textures and colors, and they were all in this region, but all still so very different. It was like such a huge, like diverse landscape, and they all had their own specific kind of beauty and function to it. And it kind of got me thinking about how like the skins that we wear and the kind of clothing that we wear too, as a sense of like expression or a form of showing kind of who we are, and seeing these different images of the trees. Actually, if you kind of can scroll down a
Okay.
little bit, I can show you a little bit what I'm talking about. So like this one, for example, this tree was dead, and yet there was something so beautiful about it because of the way that it allowed for the fungi to grow and like the different kind of lines and patterns from it. And yet there were other ones that I think that's the only one that's dead. Everyone else is alive.
Yeah. You tell me if when you want me to scroll or.
Yeah, you can keep going a little bit. So this one I saw it and I went, this one has such a strong kind of armor to it, and yet has these kind of things coming out and up over it, and so it's this like rough, tough kind of look, and it's this big, massive tree, and it's just so glorious being able to see it going out, and it just kind of it spoke to me in that way of how sometimes we can look at ourselves and think, oh, we need to look and be a certain way, but really sometimes our strengths are like elsewhere, or they're there all along, but yet we're trying to like change and shift. But a tree just is like, it's just growing and doing its thing. It's not worrying about people around and whatnot. It's like, yeah, this is how I am, this is how I look, and this is how I'm moving about the world and growing. And it just spoke to me on a very personal level with all of these different images. So we can keep going a little bit more here. This one I really liked for the being able to see the different layers and the different, almost like the different kind of skin layers. On the outside, very like hard and crisp, but then it keeps going like further in and being able to see that. And also that aspect of like shedding your skin or just having like another layer uncovered. This one I liked because there were so many different patches, just like patches all over the place of different colors, and it had this kind of interwoven vine going across it as well. Yeah. This one is just so light, and if you look close, there's so many like details within throughout all the different lines and shapes. But again, like this tree is a much younger tree, as it doesn't have the kind of like hard, crusty outer surface. It's a bit more smooth, and yet it has all of these beautiful kind of almost like adornments on it, or these little like shapes and things.
Like a map.
Yeah, it's kind of like a map. This one is not what I would have ever expected in terms of tree bark from what I see and am used to. But this one, there are several different layers that kind of come up and out, and they look like huge leaves almost, or these big kind of that are curved over. And I was like, wow, this one is just so fascinating to me in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one your favorite?
I think it's my favorite. I don't know why.
I saw your smile and you're like, Because that one is like this little like starburst that just kind of like it kind of comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're all just so beautiful and unique in their own way. And I feel like as we're like scrolling and talking about them, maybe there's you in the audience that are watching. Maybe there's one that you're gravitating towards. Whether it's one that you feel maybe most feels like yourself potentially in a way, in terms of like how it looks and moves and whatnot, or it could just be you're seeing it and being like, this is just something that I see and appreciate like on its own. This one, I couldn't get over how it felt like it was in motion, but it's not, because it's just flowing and moving through, and there's the shape itself has all of these different kinds of motions with it, but then also there's like these lumps and curves throughout the sculptural aspect as well. So I was like, wow, this one just has a lot going on.
Yeah. Also, I think how you took the photo of it. It also, for me, it also seems like human skin. I think I think it's one of the ones that feels more like this relation with our type of skin or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. This one, there are so many little bumps all over it, and I find that to be so unique and interesting. It makes me want to like touch it and just put my hands all over it because you can feel like different like bumps and textures on it.
Mm-hmm.
So this one kind of has a more, it feels like it's been compromised in some way because the line that you can see on the trunk looks like a worm or a bug or some kind of infestation of sorts. And this one kind of spoke to me in that aspect of we all have like these wounds within us, and whether it's something that's physical or internal, mental, but or like certain kind of like scars, but it's part of the transformation. And even though that might not be something that necessarily should have happened or wanted to happen, like you can learn from it and like grow from it.
Like scars.
This one, it kind of felt like they were two buddies hugging each other and growing upwards together. Yeah, just two little buddies going together.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, this one is my personal favorite. I love the shape, the texture, the color. I love how it's both like there's this smooth fluid element, but there's also these like sharp points at the end, and both like these like circles kind of going up and down, and it's a very interesting kind of texture. When I saw this, I went, wait, this is a tree trunk. This does not look like a tree trunk to me. But it was the most kind of one that spoke to me personally. I really liked that one. So. Go ahead. Sorry.
It looks like breasts. How you took how you took the photo of it. It looks like breasts. But
I guess it kind of does.
Like breasts are usually associated to something soft, I think. I guess. But this is like.
Well. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like breasts that they're like poking out? Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh, also,
do you have a question
I'm noticing in the comments, Rita. Hi, Rita. So happy to see you here. And Red, I'm seeing. Oh, I noticed there was like a question earlier too from Dipali. We'll get back to that. Rev said I could definitely see Devonics wearing something inspired by the spiky one. Yes, absolutely. For those of you who don't know, Devonics is my drag king persona. That's his name. Yeah, sorry, just continue.
No, yeah, something about this, like, that I think we had, I did a comment to you that some of the trees that have that, that type of texture, they have it when they're small. And when years go by and they're taller, sometimes they lose these points.
Oh.
Because it's like it's sometimes a protection for when they're growing, and when they get to a certain age, then they don't need that anymore.
They don't need that anymore. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, more aggressive one.
Yeah, this one. Whoo! When I saw this, I was like, okay, not going near you. You have your space. You got the spikes out, full defense. But I think you mentioned that with this tree particular, this happened after, I think there was these big leaves or something that kind of came out, and then the spikes formed. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I think the other one was more about the spikes. This is a palm tree, right?
Yeah, so it has kind of like the different layers going up, but then as it either ages or kind of continues to grow, those fall out and these like spikes come out. But yeah, that one was really intense, and I was like, yes, this needs to be one of them. And I think that also relates to like some personalities are a lot more intense, and they can appear and feel very like blunted or strong or stark. But also, you know, that just means that you can admire them and see them like from a distance. You don't got to try to like, you know, get in their spike space. Don't do that.
They're to be admired from afar.
Exactly. And this one kind of, that feels very almost opposite of what we just saw. This one feels very, very soft, elegant. The colors, it almost feels as if the, I don't know, what exactly would you call that? Is that moss or?
Yeah, some
kind of,
type of moss.
Yeah, like on top of the tree. It's like this adornment or some kind of jewelry, or it just feels very even like light and floating, something very elegant.
In local culture, also trees have mothers, or trees are mothers sometimes, right? So when I'm seeing these images, I'm also thinking of like, what type of mother is this tree? Right? Because this is like everybody's like very close and very, right? And the others are the other type of mother, maybe the stronger, like has to push through many things or things like that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Muy bien. Okay, so the next piece is Alimento Peruano, is Peruvian Nurturing, right?
Peruvian Nourishment.
Nourishment.
Yes.
So maybe you tell us a little bit about the piece.
Yeah, so so for this one, this is the second photo series, and this one is using macro photography. And the reason why I chose that specifically was because previously, before this residency, I wasn't really in tune with like cooking and the kind of foods that I was ingesting on the level that I did while I was at the residency. I mean, I did start eating a little bit more relatively healthy here and there, but I just found cooking more of like as something you have to do and it takes time and blah blah blah. But when I was at the residency program, I needed to cook my meals like every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I also was using food that was local here in the region, in the Valley region, and also I was picking fruit too from the trees that were on the land, and so there's this combination of both being aware of the food that you have and having that local, fresh, delicious food, while also cooking and preparing it in a way and that felt it didn't really feel like a burden. It felt more of a discovery of this excitement of figuring out, wow, like when I cut it open this way, the food looks like this, or when I open it in that way, it looks like that. I mean, there were from not only just seeing the fruit or the vegetable or whatever it was, and kind of like opening it up and then seeing like the shapes and the textures and the different smells, and kind of just really getting like a deeper, intimate kind of connection with food and where this food came from and being on the land and things like that. So that's what I wanted to kind of immerse in with the macro photography, with this like really deep, detailed, kind of perspective look at it.
So I'll scroll down and you can comment.
Yeah, that sounds good. So So this one, I this became my favorite fruit while I was there. I love papaya so much, and I hadn't had it before I went to the residency program, and I remember David, one of the workers on the land, who grabbed a papaya from me up on the tree, and I opened it up, looked inside, I took out the seeds, and when I ate it, it felt like life was coming into me. I don't know how else to describe it, but it just felt so delicious and juicy and fresh, and I think that combination too of having this fruit that was grown on this land, but also being able to see exactly where it came from, like picking it from there, and having it. It's so good. I had it almost every morning or whenever I could, because you can only have it when it's the ripest, when it's the freshest.
Yeah. Also, like usually when you have a fruit that comes from that you have in a market, right? It has always been picked a little bit greener. So sometimes it doesn't get as ripe as when you have it, like you have a tree next door and you grab it.
Yeah, I mean, being back home, and like getting food from the grocery store, for example, like that fruit was picked before it was even anywhere close to being ripe, and then that changes like the nutritional value too of it. Okay, so this one is so bizarre. I don't even know what it's called. But this one, when I opened it up, this is the inside, because the outside it's this very green, kind of almost looks like a, what is it called?
Do you have the guava, like the long ones, right?
Not the guava, not
no,
that
this
one.
Is not guava. Okay.
Mm-mm.
I was always
No,
thinking
this
it was
was
guava.
like flatter on either side, and then it was open on like almost like a teardrop shape kind of. But when I cut into it, it kind of had the texture of like a cucumber. But the inside looks like this. All of these different, like, those are the seeds, the darker pieces to it. And I just thought, this is so interesting and bizarre, and I need to capture this detail.
Nice. I think I've never seen this fruit so close, so that's why I'm not recognizing what fruit it is.
Yeah, and I guess
I was thinking, it's a guava, but it's not a guava.
The inside of it is so different than the outside. I mean, the outside was just so smooth and green. It had these like white lines kind of coming through it, and then you open it up, and it's just like all of these. It looks like limbs almost kind of coming out and around, and then you have a little seed on the outside. I was like, wow, this is just so unique.
I'll check.
Oh yeah, and that's the same one, but that's the seed. When I cut it, I didn't actually mean to cut the seed itself, but that's what happened, and that's the inside of the seed that you just saw from the previous picture.
It's kaiwa.
Ah, is that what it's
Kaiwa,
called?
right? So it has a weird
Yes,
longish shape.
yes.
And you can eat it in salad, like it can be salty or also like you put salt lemon. Well, I put salt and lemon. Yes,
Yeah.
it's that.
Mhm.
It's kaiwa. Yeah.
Kaiwa. There we go.
Nice.
Ah, and then yucca. Oh my gosh. So this one is similar to kind of like potato, at least from like the closest thing I can kind of think of. But it has a different texture to it. And I think it was last weekend, I actually bought one. I found one that was here.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna try it and see how it works out, because I missed it.
Because I think in the States, yucca is some other root, but I'm not sure. I think maybe they call it something different. But you will check. You will see if it is actually.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
But you probably can find it there.
So this one, I took so many pictures to try to find like the one that I really liked for it, and it's an onion, but the way that I had cut half of it and then left the other half for the next day or two. But I think this is probably 3 days later though, because when the moisture started drying out, the layers started to come out, and it looked like a flower to me, or some kind of like petals coming out from it. And I just thought that kind of onions that have such a strong smell and taste to them, to look at something like a flower that you can kind of like think of as being more like delicate, so to speak. I just thought like the visual of that grabbed me, and then the smell and the taste of an onion, that kind of juxtaposition, I thought was really beautiful. Yep, and that's another one too. Yeah, just kind of like different layers of the onion coming out like a flower almost.
I related it to dance.
Huh?
I related it to dancing, or like a soft dance or movement, like something like that.
I love that.
That is.
Yeah. So also the onion, but this one, it almost looks like it's either out in the galaxy, or it's a light, or some kind of circular, global, spherical thing that's emanating outwards. And I was like, wow, I'm seeing an onion in this kind of way, in this perspective. It's just so different and interesting. Okay, so I had so much fun with this one. So this is what I used to make a chica morada that I learned about. But it's called purple maize, right? Is that right? And so to make it, I had the purple maize, and I put it into the water and started, boiling it, and then let it be there for a while. And then afterwards, I had let it sit, and I turned off the heater, and seeing the purple corn in the water as the sun was setting, I started hearing like almost like these soothing violin sounds, and just like being in this whole serene kind of landscape, and I wanted the images to really like capture that. So in this one, you can see the close-up of the purple corn and like the water kind of going up on the side. That's what that line is. But then the next one after that is like my favorite picture.
I like it.
Yeah.
The intensity of the color.
Yeah, because on that one, I mean, you can see the rose, you can see the water going on the side, and also these like little speckles coming from the water too. It feels very almost like constellations or space, like this very, very serene, beautiful kind of feel.
Nice.
And now we're inside a pepper. I mean, all the tiny little like seeds and stuff throughout everything. And I mean, can you imagine what it would be like to be inside a pepper? Like, that's what that would be like. Maybe one of those little seeds could be your house. Each one is a house.
I was thinking it more like you are seeing like when there's cameras that are inside our body and can check what is inside. So this would be something like you're sort of looking inside an organism or something like that.
Well, and speaking of organs, this one reminds me of lungs.
Yeah.
It looks like lungs to me, and whew, this picture definitely brings back a very strong memory, because I didn't realize how hot this pepper was. And when I ate it, I could feel the heat in my mouth, in my nose, going down my throat, and it felt like I was breathing it in. And so seeing this picture, it really just kind of reflects how I was feeling personally, because the breathing and my lungs and this like intensity. I mean, I feel the strong colors in this one. I even see like on the left side, there's these little little like, what are those called, pockets of the juice. It just makes me go, ooh. And then seeing like the little details of all of the black seeds with the lines kind of going throughout. Yeah, very, very strong. This is probably, for the experience that I had, that was kind of very surprising and kind of negative and hurt my body. This is one of my also favorite pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really meant to eat like a tomato. Not really meant for that. But did you get to appreciate it in another way, like cutting it and mixing it with something else, or?
Yes, yes, I did,
Okay.
absolutely.
Nice. Yeah. That's nice.
Okay, so this one, I had no idea what this fruit was, or at least I didn't know what it looked like. I had heard about the name before, but it's a passion fruit. And I was like, wait, I've heard of this term before, I don't know what it is, but seeing it and opening it up and being like, okay, there are these seeds and juices, and then afterwards you get these like almost tentacle-like things kind of coming out, these channels that connect to the fruit and the juice that you have. But in this particular image, I wanted it to kind of feel as if I was on the outside looking in, peering into, oh, there's this like whole other little world inside of what I thought was just, you know, the juices and stuff of the fruit. And so seeing these like little tentacle-like things, I was like, ooh, these are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And another one of that one too, almost like this almost feels to me like a tongue is like coming out and like one like showing all of the things on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if other people feel this way about this shape, but I love all of these different kind of like little things kind of coming out and around. I mean, the octopus has a lot of tentacles. The octopus, Kusama's chair piece has a lot of those kind of like tentacle-like looking things, and so this spoke to me on a very kind of more visual shape kind of sculptural way.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And also, like when you do images like this close, it feels like you're entering another world, right? You see everything from this perspective, and then you go closer, and then there's a whole new world. And if you would go closer, like,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is a little different than the other ones in the fact that there's a lot of chopping involved. And I think the reason why it happened in this way was because I'm very familiar with carrots and being able to chop them in such a way to be able to create almost like an aerial view of a city down below, where you just have all of these different kind of like shapes coming out and around. And then also at the very top, in the top right side where the carrot is, there's this line that kind of curves across and shows the inside of the carrot, which is very circular and has all of these like lines kind of going out of it as well. So being able to see not only the different kinds of fruits and vegetables for the first time, but in this instance, seeing things that I've already know and am interested in, or I mean familiar with, but seeing it in an interesting and new way. So this one, I specifically chose to do this one vertically because the line going up and then all the way down and throughout, and then seeing on the inside and then further in, kind of the line kind of coming in a similar way. There's something rather almost mystical feeling about this one, which is so interesting because the food itself, when I eat it, it's a little bit more hard and crunchy, but this kind of gives this feeling of this really smooth kind of transparency and all of the different like bubbles and lines and different color, very like the transparency, is that the word I'm looking for? So yeah,
translucent, like there's light coming through it also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it feels that way. Mm-hmm.
I first thought it was a mango, but is it a mango? Is it something else? No.
No, it's the one where on the outside it's yellow and pink dots all over it, and it's small, kind of similar to potato, but not quite. Like a branch off of the tomato. I mean potato.
Okay. Oyukito.
Yes.
Oyuko.
Mm-hmm.
Oyuko.
So this was the first time that I had decided to boil a tomato, and the result of that is this. Because
I first thought it was a papaya, or some close-up, some strange close-up of a.
Right.
I know it's a tomato. Okay.
Right. Oh, this is the inside of a tomato, and it felt so like the line itself that just happened naturally from the way that after it being boiled, it was peeling apart, and it just kind of did. Woo, I didn't have like a knife or anything to make that line. It just did that, and so I decided to very carefully try to get it out of the water, set it down, and then take a picture of that line, because it almost even looks like it could be a river or something too. But the way the kind of line goes across, and then seeing how the outside layer of it versus the inside, how you have this very smooth, almost skin-like outside, but then the inside is very like there's all of these like mush and gush and the juiciness.
Nice.
Okay, so this one, oh my gosh. So this is cacao, or the inside of it, and when Hilma first showed me this this fruit, I just kind of went, wow, what is this thing before me? And then when she like banged it on the floor, because it has this very hard exterior, the inside of it is that, and it's this very kind of gooey and kind of almost slimy looking, and I was thinking to myself, what am I about to put in my mouth? This is so weird. But what was really helped everything was that, one, I love trying new things, but two, Hilma, she was like, this is so delicious. This is like so sweet, so good. You're gonna love it, and just like pop it in her mouth like it was nothing. And so I went, okay, try this, and I did that, and I kid you not, it tasted like sucking on candy. It was the sweetest natural fruit that I have ever tried. I was just mesmerized, and I wish that everyone could try this and have this experience, because oh my gosh, I want them and I love them. They're just so yummy. And then afterwards, we saved the seeds, dried them in the sun, and then created like hot chocolate from them. And so I got to do that process of like peeling apart the outer shell, seeing the inside, and I even tasted just the dark chocolate piece of it itself. But it wasn't chocolate; it was just the nut, and it tasted like a nut. And I was expecting it to not taste like the chocolate that's processed, but I didn't expect it to taste like as nutty as it did. So that was really bizarre and interesting. But I loved how something about picking it, opening it, eating it, saving the seed, drying, peeling, and then turning it to hot chocolate, like that whole entire process from start to end was really fascinating to be a part of, and to like have that experience from each step in each process going through.
Nice.
Oh yeah, more of these.
That looks more alien looking.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one, these are the juices that I was talking about that comes from. But this one, I was like, wow, it just feels so shiny and sparkly, and it was almost, if you look on the outside, kind of almost, I don't know, a whole different kind of texture than what it is when you actually eat it. But yeah, really good. Very sour too. Very sour. And there's another one from the cacao. Yep.
Nice.
And then the lemon, the famous lemon. I fell in love with the lemon while being here. And this is the first picture that I took of the series. And I remember after cutting the lemon in half and seeing this, it kind of felt like a starburst almost, or something like this, just like this happy explosion of sourness.
Yeah.
And I ended up putting this in my hot water every morning. I put it on my food. I went out to pick it, and I got a couple of them, and they were like, these lemons are not what I thought or was familiar with back here in the States. I mean, these type of lemons are probably like almost maybe that big. I mean, they're huge, and they have these like bumps on them and everything, and the inside is just so juicy and delicious. But it brought me so much joy in the morning, and I felt like this picture really just encapsulated this like starburst kind of energy.
Nice.
And then a close-up of that one as well, and on the inside, and seeing the like little individual pods of like the juices.
It's interesting how the shapes also make you feel like it's a happy shape. It's a It's a sweet shape.
Yes.
That we associate different things to, like just the shape, just the colors, and it's nice.
Absolutely.
And for our last piece would be Connections, Interconnections, 2021.
Yeah. So for this one, this is the last piece that we're going to be showing. It's a video, and this is a screen dance video that I actually have a description for that I would like to read for you. Let me pull that up. Okay, here we go. So, in the depths of the rural Amazon region of Ucayali, Peru, in the country of my ancestral past, I delve into the inner healing of the mind through the screen dance film Connection. This film expresses the interconnected healing through several parts of self, both in reviving my disassociative mind back into the body, listening to suppressed emotions while also embracing them for what they are saying and trying to tell me, and cultivating a stronger understanding of identity and sense of self. So from the taste of the trees, from the papaya, to the sounds of the birds in nature, Connection shares this inner healing journey through film and dance.
Lo leo en español. En las profundidades de la región rural amazónica de Ucayali, Perú, en el país del pasado ancestral del artista, Michelina profundiza en la sanación interior de la mente a través de la película de Screen Dance Conexión. La película expresa esta curación interconectada a través de varias partes del yo. Revivir la mente disociativa de regreso al cuerpo, escuchar las emociones reprimidas mientras las acepta por lo que están diciendo, y cultivar una comprensión más sólida de la identidad y del sentido del yo. Desde el sabor de la papaya del árbol hasta los sonidos de los pájaros en la naturaleza. Conexión comparte este viaje de sanación interior a través del cine y la danza. So we can go and see the video.
All right, we might have to start this one from the beginning again.
I think it went like that. And I'll put my audio in silence.
And I'll do the same. Enjoy. All right.
The extra.
Okay.
we had to see that too. Like we had to see that part too.
Oh, I couldn't help myself. Okay, so this piece. Wow. Okay, so this one is a very personal one, as you can tell from the video. But basically, it the screen dance video goes through the journey of this inner healing that came from the residency program, from first arriving and seeing all of these different things in nature, all of the different animals, plants, the different sounds, and at the very beginning when you saw all of these clips really quickly, that's actually how it felt in my mind when I was first arriving, and even through that first week, it was just a lot of exciting overstimulation of all these different things, and being in a new place and just everything kind of being heightened. And that kind of was almost this shocking factor of excitement that kind of helped me get out of this disassociation from the several months and potentially close to a year from what happened with the all of the different issues and problems and just world chaos that was going on. I didn't know how to really process or handle that mentally, and so there was a lot of dissociation happening with basically my mind and body almost feeling split in a way, because I was constantly just consumed by social media in terms of just scrolling through things that either make me happy and just kind of have this sense of dopamine rush or whatever, but being there, not having internet not having internet access or Wi-Fi, except for once a week in that place over at the city, it really just kind of helped me focus more on being in my body in the space that I'm occupying, where I'm in, and then that's where the second part happens, where I am showing the various different places around that I am in and moving through, and then it goes into the very kind of slow portion, which basically happened about a month into the residency program, where that initial shock was over, the familiarity of the space around me was present, and I was able to just really deeply enjoy the stillness of being in a place and watching something, or just seeing a lizard eat a bug, for example, or just watching as the toucans fly overhead, which was so magical. I wish I had video footage of toucans to show you, but they are quick and I just wanted to enjoy it. But there's something very internal that was happening, which allowed me to then go not from just these physical sensations of being connected again to the mind and body, but really focusing even deeper, which is where the breathing starts coming in. I was doing this breath work of breathing in twice and exhaling out once, breathing in twice, exhaling out once. And I found this out from Michelle Diavella, who's on YouTube and had like her own channel. And it really allows you to just kind of like release your emotions or whatever maybe was like pent up, and all of this like stress, anxiety, and tension. You're just like, oh, and that kind of, when that starts happening, I wanted to show and display what it felt like in the mind of going through that process. And so a lot of the dancing is showing kind of that element of, there's this initial feeling of like you're breathing, calm and soothing, but then there's this point, if you've ever done breath work, maybe you're familiar with this, but where it becomes almost more difficult to breathe. Like you can feel this like tension happening, and I had this feeling of like, oh, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. Like almost just trying to block out anything that is arising. And that's kind of where the wind, where I was trying to like stop it, the wind from happening, or where the rain was going, and I was like covering myself and like just didn't want to be in it. But if there's anything that I've learned, it's that when those things are happening in our minds, I know I showed it in like a physical way, but like when they're happening, when you feel that wind, when you feel that turmoil, when you're in the state with the rain and this just feeling inside you, I've been learning more to find time to be able to process it, be with it, don't shy away from it, and just kind of like let it run its course, and also let it guide you into like fully embracing like what is happening and like what it's trying to tell you. And so that's kind of where the turning point happened in the video, where talking about connection and feeling that, you know, the wind is happening in this space, so instead of fighting it, I'm gonna get beside it and just, you know, I was moving my hands like this and just kind of like being with the wind, letting it course through you, allowing that to happen, and it being a bit more of a space that is that you're working through. And then after that happens, going back to the breath work, there were so many moments where I was just crying my eyes out, and it just felt so vulnerable, but also relieving in a way that just felt like that inside was like it was able to just kind of like come out, and then you feel lighter, and being able to just
It cut for a little bit.
that breath at the end of it. So yeah.
It was it's a very moving piece, and and I think it shows many things that in a brief moment it shows many things that happened throughout the time you were there. Right.
Yeah, and I think there's something really special about being able to do this and go through this on the land of my ancestral past, of being here in Peru. There's a lot of internal like struggle and dialogue that was going through my mind about this like sense of identity and place. And being in that space and being able to completely immerse myself in the different foods that were available, in the different plants that were around me, in the different kinds of animals and birds and landscapes and sounds that I was hearing throughout, it just it just felt so wonderful to be able to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And to have like at least this sense of being in a space and healing in a space that I have these personal identity kind of complexities about like being mixed race and being Peruvian and not knowing too much about like, well, what does that mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that manifest? Like I can mean whatever it wants to me, right? You know, but like being here and being able to create this artwork and being able to connect with the people, connect with you and Hilma, with David and Dimas, to be with the land and to be connected with even like a deeper connection with Miriam and Anahi. If you guys are listening, if you're here, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. But it was very healing in so many different ways. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm I'm glad it I'm even before that you came, we knew that this was a very special residency. It was going to be a very special moment for you, and for many times, especially individual residencies have this charge of something very that there's a longing for a long time for people to be in this context that they don't know what's going to happen or they don't know what where it's going to take them.
Mm-hmm.
But we were also very honored that you saw the residency as a place to have that first journey, because I feel it was sort of like a first journey to connect in a physical way, in a mental way, in you with this land. So for us, it was also a big responsibility. We felt it as a big responsibility because it like we are.
Well, thank you so much. You guys did a really great job. I mean, it was everything I could hope for and more. So I really appreciate that.
And I hope this is the beginning also of new discoveries for you in your work, but also personally, because it's another world. We're always expanding our boundaries, our world, the way it's a different way of seeing things. You've experienced so much in really a short time, and I hope all your experiences enrich your experiences of doing things, but also of seeing the world. And I hope you can come back also, like if you want to.
I would love that.
Yeah, if the image went. If not, we saw that your heritage is maybe from more of the north of Peru, right?
The more concentrated portion, yes.
Yes, so that would be interesting in for you to come and also explore different parts of Peru, because as you said, like maybe you didn't know what your connection of Peru was or what that meant. As anything, for every Peruvian, their connection to Peru is also a whole different world, and I hope you can. This is just a starting point to get to know this part of the world and how it connects to you and whatever you want to do in the future.
Thank you. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I definitely want to come back. I think that would be absolutely wonderful. I also there's one other person I forgot to mention that I wanted to say. Edith, thank you so much. Edith was there for me during the week that I really needed for healing, and so I really appreciate that she was there as well. For everyone who's still here, thank you so much for being here and for listening to my artwork, to what I have to say about it, for being here, for supporting me. I know everyone's lives are really busy, and so just the fact that you're here to be able to be here for the artwork, it means a lot. It means a lot to me that you're here. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Diana, for making all of this possible. I love doing this live presentation, for being at the residency program. And I'm also going to do a little plug-in for you because I love this book so much. But Diana is the illustrator for this book. It's got Oscuro con Limón, and there's she did this like illustration, and there's all of these cute little pieces that she did, and it really talks about a lot with like food and culture and creating. And so if you do want a copy, it's on Amazon. But I just wanted to like put that in there because it's a
Nice.
beautiful book and I love it. So
I'm glad. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything. If Helma's here, thank you, Helma, for letting me be on your land.
Nice. Yeah, she was always also very, as what I said, like we were honored to have you, and it was an honor also that you chose our space to have your first connection towards Peru. And I hope this connection between us also continues, and we can follow your work and follow a friendship that has started with this experience. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So for everyone that's here, thank you for joining us. We will be posting the videos and the links of the videos also on Facebook. And it's also right now in centroselva.com in the blog. The link I'll put also right now that we're posting it in the video, so that you can enjoy the pieces whenever you would like to see them again, or read a little bit more of the text that Michelina has written of the different pieces. So thank you very much. Thank you, Michelina. And thank you for everybody that's watching, and we'll see everyone in the next opportunity. Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.